let's try and make sense of this long and complicated TikTok saga. For that, we're joined by Dan Ives, Managing Director and Head of Global Tech Research at Wedbush Securities. Good to see you again.
Great to see you.
Okay, beginning, where as a nation do we stand right now in regards to TikTok? After the harsh rhetoric while running for office, Trump seems to appreciate the support that his 14 million followers on that app delivered while he was candidate Trump.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is all a game of high-stakes poker. So if you look at TikTok, this is in the grand scheme, it's all about U.S.-China negotiations, but Trump's against the ban. And now essentially 75 days to find, again, it's not a sale, it's going to be called a JV, or really 50% ownership. And I believe Musk, Ellison, and a handful of other big tech players will be instrumental to finding a solution here.
Okay, what is the incentive for ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, to sell? Granted, they have 170 million followers here, but they have a lot globally as well.
I mean, there's 40 billion reasons, right? I mean, the reality is that without the algorithm, and they'll never sell it without the algorithm, 40 to 50 billion is probably the valuation. Obviously, with the algorithm, much more. But now it's one of these, like, back was against the wall. The reality is Trump wants to make a deal. I don't believe it's selling to a U.S. tech player. I think it's really more of a JV, that this is going to be the structure. And I think for them, it's 175 million users. And this is ultimately the way that they're going to navigate a deal without selling.
Okay, so what happened? Because during Trump's first term, 2017, he had made it clear that he wanted to shut down TikTok. What made him change over the last 8 years?
Look, I think clearly, look, the popularity of the app is unrivaled, in terms of TikTok, what we've seen in the U.S. Obviously, TikTok was instrumental even when it came to Trump in terms of election and what we saw there. And I think the reality is that if you shut TikTok down, it would give more and more power to Meta, more and more power to Google, and that's not what they want to see. And look, things change, and Trump is now very against the ban, but it goes back to this is a chip in a broader poker game between U.S. and China.
All right, let's talk more about that chip. What do you think it is, and where does it come into play in terms of the punishing tariffs, sanctions, basically, that Trump has indicated he wants on all Chinese-made products?
Well, first of all, I think the tariffs, and we saw it today, I think the market took the cues, probably going to be less onerous, right? It definitely doesn't feel as harsh in terms of maybe some of the threats, but it's a broader negotiation. I mean, this is going to, this is going to be a negotiation that happens over months and months, but TikTok's an important chip relative to ByteDance, relative to Beijing. Trump understands that, and I think Musk understands that. And then Musk is going to also play a key role in how this all plays out. But we believe there's 90 and 95% chance a deal gets done in 75 days, and it's probably some sort of joint venture between a U.S. tech player and ByteDance, but the algorithm stays under ByteDance.
It's interesting. Almost every time in our conversation you've said the word Trump, you said the word Musk. Does Musk have as much power, as much authority as it sounds like he has at this point? And Trump also has a history of having bad fallings out with folks. What happens if that happens with Musk?
Yeah, to the latter point, get the history, but I don't think it happens here. I mean, I think the bromance between Musk and Trump, I think continues to actually strengthens, because to some extent, Trump needs Musk, Musk needs Trump. Whether on the tech side, whether when it comes to China, and I think Musk, I'd say Tim Cook probably know China as well as anyone when it comes to U.S. tech leaders. And this is something that I think you saw in inauguration. Who's behind Trump? It's big tech.
Okay, how would a full-on ban affect the users and the broader cultural influence that TikTok does have globally? And secondly, what could it possibly do to U.S.-China relations? As you talked about just a minute ago, it doesn't seem so onerous that the hammer could come down on tariffs the way Trump had talked about.
Yeah, look, a ban, I just believe, just does not happen for TikTok. And the reason I say that, you can't put genie back in the bottle. what does that mean for other social media players, right? And I think we saw that even in the sort of 12 hours it was banned under Biden, on Jan 19th. But this is a broader negotiation.
Yeah.
And I think the tea leaves, at least initially, feels like in terms of DC as well as Beijing, like there's going to be negotiation. The last thing you want to do in negotiations is start off to the wrong foot. And that's what would happen with TikTok getting banned.